Top 24. Interracial black and white Hollywood couples you'd never recognize today. Vertical bar. Then and now, 2026. What if the most glamorous Hollywood romances you thought you knew look nothing like you remember today? Behind the flashing cameras and red carpets, some of the most iconic black and white couples faced scandals, prejudice, and transformations that shocked the world. From legendary actors to music icons, their love stories broke barriers, stirred controversy, and left fans speechless. But where are they now, and how have they changed over time? Stay tuned, because you're about to see the then and now of 24 interracial couples you'd never recognize today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. When Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson began dating in 1992, their romance quickly became one of the most scrutinized stories in Hollywood. Both were at the height of their fame. Whoopi had already won an Academy Award for Ghost 1990 and was celebrated for her trailblazing role in The Color Purple 1985, while Ted was the beloved star of Cheers the sitcom that had dominated television ratings for over a decade. What started as an on-set friendship while filming the comedy Made in America 1993 soon evolved into a very public relationship that tested the limits of Hollywood's comfort with interracial love. Their romance lasted about 18 months, but during that short period it generated a firestorm of media coverage. The early 1990s were still a time when interracial couples, especially black women with white male partners, faced prejudice, public skepticism, and even open hostility. Whoopi and Ted challenged those biases head-on, appearing together on red carpets and refusing to hide their affection. Yet the very openness that made their relationship powerful also placed them under relentless scrutiny. One of the most infamous moments came in October 1993 at a Friars Club roast in New York honoring Whoopi. Ted Danson, attempting comedy, appeared in blackface makeup, a routine Whoopi reportedly co-wrote and approved. While they intended it as satire, the public reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Civil rights groups, fans, and media critics condemned the act, sparking national debate about racism, humor, and the responsibility of public figures. That controversy, combined with the strain of constant attention, contributed to the couple's breakup later that same year. Despite its brevity, the relationship left an undeniable cultural mark. It forced mainstream America to confront its lingering discomfort with interracial romance, and highlighted the unique challenges black women face when their personal lives intersect with public expectation. Whoopi later reflected that their relationship was real and deeply felt, but that they simply couldn't survive the storm surrounding them. Ted, in turn, retreated from the spotlight and eventually found long-term happiness with actress Mary Steenburgen, whom he married in 1995. Though often remembered for controversy, Whoopi and Ted's time together was more than just a tabloid headline. It was a reminder of how personal love stories can ignite larger conversations about race, society, and progress. Their romance may have lasted less than 2 years, but its legacy still lingers more than 3 decades later. Do you think Hollywood today is more accepting of interracial couples, or are the same barriers still quietly present? Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez. When Halle Berry and French actor Olivier Martinez first crossed paths in 2010 on the set of the action romance Dark Tide, no one could have predicted how quickly their chemistry would leap off the screen and turn into one of Hollywood's most closely watched interracial love stories. By then, Berry was already a household name. In 2002, she made history as the first and still only black woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance in Monsters Ball. The Unfaithful 2002, Before Night Falls 2000, and SWAT 2003. Together, they seemed like a pairing of two worlds: Halle's commanding Hollywood presence and Olivier's European sophistication. Their romance became public in late 2010 and quickly gained media attention. For Berry, who had endured difficult past relationships, including a divorce from singer Eric Benet and a contentious custody battle with model Gabriel Aubrey Martinez, represented a new chapter, one she described as calmer and more grounded. The couple got engaged in early 2012, And on July 13, 2013, they married at the historic Château de Condé in Valery, France. The intimate ceremony was a blend of glamour and privacy, attended only by close friends and family. Just a few months later, Berry gave birth to her second child, and her first with Martinez's son, Maceo Robon O. Yet even fairy tale romances can face difficulties. After 2 years of marriage, the couple announced in October 2015 that they were divorcing, citing irreconcilable differences. While many celebrity splits become bitter public battles, Berry and Martinez handled their separation with dignity, focusing on co-parenting their son. Both emphasized mutual respect and the priority of family, ensuring that Maceo would be raised in a supportive environment. Though their marriage ended, the legacy of their relationship endures as one of grace under pressure. They demonstrated that love can bloom across cultures and continents, and that even when romance doesn't last forever, respect and shared devotion to a child can. Halle Berry has continued to thrive as an actress and director, while Olivier remains active in European and American cinema. Do you believe short-lived relationships like Halle and Olivier's can still leave a lasting positive impact on the people involved? Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian. When tennis legend Serena and Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian first met in May 2015 at the Cavalieri Hotel in Rome, their story seemed almost like fate. Serena was in town for the Italian Open while Alexis was attending a tech conference. They happened to sit near each other at breakfast, a chance encounter that quickly turned into a conversation and eventually a romance that would captivate the world. By that time, Serena was already considered one of the greatest athletes in history, holding 23 Grand Slam singles titles and commanding global respect for her dominance on the court. Alexis, on the other hand, had carved out his own legacy in Silicon Valley as the co-founder of Reddit, one of the internet's largest platforms. Together, they represented the merging of two different worlds, sport and technology. But what truly defined them was the balance of admiration, humor, and deep respect they shared. Their relationship progressed steadily. In December 2016, Alexis proposed to Serena at the very same hotel where they first met, making the moment even more symbolic. Just months later, in September 2017, they welcomed their daughter, Alexis Olympia Ohanian Jr. 2 months after Olympia's birth, they tied the knot in New Orleans in a star-studded ceremony attended by celebrities like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Anna Wintour. Their wedding wasn't just glamorous. It was a bold public statement that love across race and profession can be celebrated openly and proudly. What has made Serena and Alexis's marriage stand out is the way Alexis fully embraces Serena's world. Instead of shrinking from her spotlight, he chose to step into it, proudly supporting her at matches and celebrating her achievements. In 2020, he resigned from Reddit's board, urging the company to fill his seat with a black candidate, a decision he described as part of building a better world for their daughter. Serena has often praised him for his humility, support, and progressive views, calling him a true partner who allows her to shine without competition or insecurity. The couple has since expanded their family with the birth of their second daughter, Adira River Ohanian, in August 2023. Together, they openly discuss intentional parenting, equality in their household, and breaking outdated gender roles. Serena once noted that Alexis cooks just as much as she does while she takes on tasks traditionally labeled male. Do you think Serena and Alexis's open approach to balancing fame, family, and equality has set a new standard for what it means to be a power couple in today's world? Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower. Few Hollywood unions carried the weight of both star power and social meaning quite like the marriage of Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower. They first met in 1987 at the iconic Mr. Chow restaurant in London, where Grace worked as a hostess. At the time, De Niro was already a 2-time Academy Award winner, celebrated for Raging Bull 1980 and The Godfather Part II, 1974. But it wasn't fame or fortune that captivated him. It was Grace's poise, independence, and grounded strength. Their connection grew slowly but steadily, culminating in a private wedding in 1997, one of the rare high-profile interracial marriages in Hollywood at that time. Grace, born in Mississippi and raised in modest circumstances, was determined to carve her own identity beyond being a famous actor's wife. Over the years, she built a remarkable career as a philanthropist, entrepreneur, and activist. She founded Grace Hightower and Coffees of Rwanda, a socially conscious company dedicated to supporting Rwandan farmers in the wake of the 1994 genocide, blending business success with humanitarian impact. The couple welcomed their first child, Elliot De Niro, in 1998. Though they briefly separated in 1999 and even filed for divorce, they reconciled, proving the resilience of their bond. In 2011, they expanded their family by welcoming a daughter, Helen Grace. Yet their relationship was not without struggle. In 2018, news broke that De Niro and Hightower had quietly separated after more than 20 years together. Their split was marked not by public scandal, but by a dignified acknowledgement of their differences, with both choosing to prioritize the well-being of their children above all else. De Niro, often private, rarely spoke about the separation, while Grace continued her philanthropic work and advocacy with quiet determination. Their marriage remains significant because it showcased the blending of two worlds, Hollywood prestige and grassroots activism. Grace's work demonstrated that she was more than a supporting figure. She was a leader, while De Niro's respect for her individuality reflected a modern partnership built on admiration and shared values. Though no longer together, Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower's story still resonates. It represents love's ability to inspire growth, withstand trials, and leave behind a legacy of family and purpose. Grace Jones and Dolph Lundgren. In the glamorous yet turbulent 1980s, few celebrity pairings embodied defiance and individuality quite like Grace Jones and Dolph Lundgren. Their story began in 1983 at a nightclub in Sydney, where Grace, already a global superstar, first locked eyes with a young Swedish bodyguard who was also a chemical engineer and competitive martial artist. For Grace, Dolph's striking looks and quiet intelligence stood out immediately. For Dolph, being noticed by one of the most daring figures in music and fashion was life-changing. What began as a chance meeting soon evolved into a whirlwind romance that transformed both of their lives. Grace was no ordinary partner. A trailblazer in music with hits like Pull Up to the Bumper, a muse to designers like Jean-Paul Gaultier, and an actress with unforgettable roles in films such as Conan the Destroyer, 1984, she was used to being the center of every room she entered. Yet she saw in Dolph not just a companion, but raw potential waiting to be unleashed. Bringing him into her artistic world, she introduced him to New York's vibrant creative scene, where he met icons like Andy Warhol. With Grace's encouragement, Dolph moved from being her bodyguard to her protege, eventually landing modeling gigs and acting roles. His breakout came in A View to a Kill, 1985, where he appeared alongside Grace, and shortly after he rocketed to stardom as Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Publicly, the pair were electric. Grace's fierce gender-bending fashion statements and powerful presence clashed and harmonized with Dolph's statuesque physique and Nordic coolness. They became the embodiment of contrast Afro-futurist edge beside classical European strength. Fashion photographers adored them, magazines featured them, and their boldness inspired designers, musicians, and filmmakers. They weren't just a couple, they were a cultural phenomenon. But behind the spectacle was a real bond. For nearly 4 years, Grace and Dolph shared an intense, passionate relationship built on admiration and freedom. However, the same intensity that fueled their partnership also made it difficult to sustain. By the late 1980s, they amicably parted ways. Grace later admitted that she had helped Dolph become who he was, but knew he needed to forge his own path. Their breakup was not bitter. Rather, it was a recognition of personal growth and diverging journeys. Zoe Saldana and Marco Perigo. In Hollywood, where image often overshadows authenticity, the marriage of Zoe Saldana and Mark stands out as a true story of love, courage, and balance. The pair began dating in early 2013, and within just a few months, they surprised everyone by marrying in a private ceremony in London. What caught the public's attention wasn't only the speed of their romance, but Marco's groundbreaking decision to take Zoe's surname, becoming Marco Perego Saldana. It was a bold rejection of tradition, sparking conversations about masculinity, equality, and what partnership really means. By this point, Zoe was already a household name. With career-defining roles in Avatar 2009, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, and Star Trek 20. Together, they created not just a marriage, but a philosophy of partnership. They are raising 3 sons, Sai Bowie and Zen, in a bilingual, bicultural household. Both parents have been outspoken about rejecting traditional gender roles. Zoe has often shared that in their home, Marco cooks as often as she does, while she isn't afraid to take on tasks often labeled as male. For them, equality is not just an ideal, but a daily practice, one that shapes the way they parent and live. Unlike many celebrity couples who thrive on publicity, Zoe and Marco keep their relationship grounded. They rarely appear in gossip columns, choosing instead to nurture their family life privately. Zoe has said that Marco sees her not as a global star, but as a woman with dreams, flaws, and strength. In turn, Marco praises Zoe for her independence and authenticity, standing beside her as an equal rather than competing for attention. Their union continues to inspire because it demonstrates that true love means rewriting the rules to fit your values, not society's expectations. In a world still clinging to outdated norms, Zoe and Marco show that love, respect, and courage are timeless foundations for a marriage. Do you think more celebrity couples will follow Zoe and Marco's example by breaking traditions and creating their own definitions of equality in marriage? Eve Jihan Jeffers and Maximilian Cooper. When Grammy-winning rapper and actress Eve Jihan Jeffers met British entrepreneur The Greatest in 2010, their worlds could not have been more different. Eve, raised in Philadelphia, had built her career with hit singles like Let Me Blow Your Mind and Who's That Girl, while also starring in films such as Bee and her own sitcom Eve. Maximus Gumball 3000, but not despite their contrasting backgrounds, the couple quickly discovered a shared passion for creativity and ambition. For Eve, Maximilian represented stability and deep respect. She later admitted that many men had been intimidated by her power and success, but Maximilian embraced it fully. Their relationship blossomed, and on June 14, 2014, the two tied the knot in Ibiza, Spain. Their wedding brought together worlds of music, motorsport, and fashion in a celebration that reflected their unique journey. Eve's marriage also gave her an instant family. Maximilian had 4 children from a previous marriage, and Eve stepped into the role of stepmother with honesty and pride. She once confessed that it took time to adjust, but ultimately described the children as the sweetest, most amazing kids. Her openness about blending families resonated with many, particularly women navigating similar journeys. But the couple faced challenges of their own. For years, Eve was candid about her struggles with infertility, speaking publicly during her time as a co-host on The Talk. After a long and emotional road, their perseverance was rewarded in Feb, when Eve gave birth to their son, Wild Wolf Fife Alexander Summers Cooper. Their union has not been without criticism. Some fans questioned Eve's choice to marry a white man, expecting her to stay within her race. Yet the strength of their bond silenced detractors over time. Together, they've shown that love transcends race, background, and even geography, splitting time between London and the United States while maintaining a strong family foundation. Today, more than a decade after they first met, Eve and Maximilian remain proof that true love knows no boundaries. Their story blends hip-hop grit with aristocratic elegance, creating a partnership that's both inspiring and enduring. Do you believe Eve's openness about her struggles with infertility and blended family life has helped break down stigmas for women in similar situations? Naomi Campbell and Vladislav Doronin. When Naomi Campbell, Vladislav Doronin at the Cannes Film Festival in 2008, their connection was immediate. Naomi was already an icon. She had dominated international runways since the late 1980s, becoming the first black model to grace the cover of French Vogue in 1988. and later appearing on Time and countless other magazines. Vladislav, often nicknamed the Donald Trump of Russia, had built a global fortune developing luxury properties across Europe and Asia. Together, they represented the perfect blend of fashion and finance, creating a relationship that turned heads everywhere they went. For nearly 5 years, Naomi and Vladislav were inseparable. They traveled the world attending exclusive galas, walking red carpets, and vacationing on private islands. Naomi, long known for being fiercely protective of her private life, appeared more open and content in public during this time. Vladislav admired her independence and confidence, while Naomi found stability and sophistication in his world of business. Their relationship wasn't only about appearances, it was also defined by grand gestures. Perhaps the most famous symbol of their romance was the futuristic Capitol Hill residence, a glass and concrete mansion designed by the late world-renowned architect Zaha Hadid. Shaped like a spaceship and nestled in the Moscow countryside, it was reportedly a gift from Doronin to Naomi. Though she never lived in the property, the mansion became an architectural landmark and a striking symbol of their larger-than-life union. Throughout their years together, they were constantly photographed, becoming a true power couple across both the fashion and business worlds. Yet despite their glamorous lifestyle, their romance came to a quiet close in 2013. Unlike many high-profile breakups, theirs ended without public scandal or bitter words. Both chose dignity and privacy moving forward in their own lives, while leaving behind a chapter marked by elegance and influence. For Naomi, who later embraced motherhood in 2021, the relationship with Doronin was a rare moment of public openness in a career otherwise defined by mystery and independence. For Vladislav, it was a connection that intertwined him with the world of fashion and culture at the very highest levels. Today, their relationship is remembered not just for its glitz, but for what it represented: two powerful figures from vastly different worlds, one from the catwalks of Paris, the other from the skyscrapers of Moscow, meeting in the middle to create a story of passion, luxury, and cultural convergence. Do you think relationships marked by such extraordinary wealth and glamour can ever truly be private? Or are they destined to be lived under the spotlight? Donna Summer and Bruce Sudano. When Donna Summer, Bruce Sudano, Hot Stuff, 1979. Bad Girls, 1979, and Last Dance, 1978, earning 5 Grammy Awards and selling over 100 million records worldwide. Bruce, co-founder of the band Brooklyn Dreams, was an accomplished songwriter who had worked with top artists of the era. Their meeting in the late 1970s quickly blossomed into both a musical and personal partnership that would last more than 3 decades. Their creative chemistry translated into timeless music. Bruce co-wrote many of Donna's hits, including Bad Girls, which remains one of her most iconic tracks. But beyond the studio, the two discovered a deep companionship. In 1980, they married at a time when high-profile interracial marriages in the entertainment industry were still rare and often met with scrutiny. Instead of letting the outside world define them, Donna and Bruce chose to live authentically, nurturing their love away from the noise of tabloids. Together, they built a family. They welcomed 2 daughters, Brooklyn and Amanda, while Bruce became stepfather to Donna's first daughter, Mimi, from a previous relationship. Family life became a priority, and in the 1990s, Donna stepped back from the relentless pace of stardom to focus on motherhood, faith, and painting, while Bruce continued writing and producing. Their decision to place family at the center of their lives gave their relationship a resilience that many celebrity unions lacked. For more than 30 years, their marriage was a rare constant in an industry known for fleeting romances. Bruce stood by Donna through her artistic highs and personal challenges, including her private battle with lung cancer. When Donna passed away on May 17, 2012, a Donna and Bruce's love story is remembered not just for its longevity, but for the values it embodied: faith, respect, and an unshakable devotion to family. Their marriage wasn't about red carpet appearances or Hollywood glamour. It was about 2 artists who found strength in each other and chose to walk through life hand in hand. Do you think long-lasting celebrity marriages like Donna and Bruce's are overlooked in favor of shorter, more dramatic Hollywood romances? FKA Twigs, Talia de Brett Barnett and Robert Pattinson. When avant-garde British singer-songwriter FKA Twigs, born Talia de Brett Barnett, and actor Robert Pattinson began dating in 2014, their relationship instantly became one of the most unexpected and talked-about romances of the decade. Twigs, known for her genre-defying debut album, LP1 2014, was the Twilight Saga, one of the highest-grossing film franchises of all time. Their pairing symbolized two different cultural worlds colliding: the experimental underground and the Hollywood mainstream. The couple kept their love life relatively private, rarely giving interviews or indulging in overt public displays. Yet when they were seen together, whether at fashion shows, music festivals, or simply strolling hand in hand, their contrasting styles fascinated onlookers. Robert's quiet, brooding persona balanced Twigs's fearless and unconventional image. In 2015, the pair surprised fans by announcing their engagement, proving that their bond was serious and deeply felt. However, their relationship also revealed the darker side of celebrity culture. Following the engagement news, Twigs became the target of racist abuse online, particularly from segments of Robert's fanbase who struggled to accept him being with a black woman. Twigs later revealed that the attacks went beyond criticism. They were dehumanizing, hateful, and relentless. Robert stood by her side, refusing to let public hostility define their union. Still, the weight of constant scrutiny took a toll on the couple. Despite the challenges, their relationship lasted until 2017. Their breakup was not marked by scandal or betrayal, but by diverging paths. Robert began reinventing his career with acclaimed indie roles in films like Good Time 2017 and later as The Batman 2022. Twigs continued to grow as an artist, releasing Magdalene. Though their romance ended, its significance remains. Their story highlighted how deeply ingrained biases still linger even in the 21st century, and how love between two high-profile figures can become a battleground for larger societal issues. Yet it also showed resilience: Twigs's strength in the face of racism and Robert's quiet loyalty during the storm left a lasting impression. Today, their relationship is remembered not only as a love story, but as a cultural moment, a reminder that even in Hollywood, where glamour often overshadows reality, couples are not immune to the world's prejudices. Do you think the backlash FKA Twigs faced exposed how far we still have to go in accepting interracial relationships, even in modern entertainment? Heather Headley and Brian Musso. In the fast-paced world of entertainment, few relationships have stood as quietly strong as the union between Heather Headley and Brian Musso, The Lion King, and won a Tony Award for her performance in Eat 2000. Her transition into recording was just as successful. Her gospel R&B and soul albums earned her both a Grammy and a devoted fan base. By the early 2000s, Heather had become a respected name in both theater and music. Brian Musso, by contrast, came from an entirely different world. A former college football star at Northwestern University and later an NFL player with the New York Jets. Brian grew up in a family rooted in sports. His father, Johnny Musso, was also a professional football player. It was at Northwestern that Heather and Brian first crossed paths. She was a student of musical theater. He was a star athlete. Their friendship deepened into love, and in 2003 they tied the knot, beginning a journey that would emphasize faith, family, and partnership over fame. Unlike many celebrity marriages that thrive on publicity, Heather and Brian chose a quieter path. They settled away from Hollywood's spotlight, raising their 3 children in Illinois, where Heather has often credited Brian for being her anchor. "He lets me fly, but he always keeps me grounded," she once said, describing how his steady presence helped her balance the unpredictable world of entertainment with the stability of family life. Brian eventually retired from professional sports and shifted into a career in business, allowing him to support Heather's continued work on stage and in music. While Heather occasionally steps back into the limelight, whether starring in the Bodyguard musical in London or performing her moving, gospel-inspired concerts, her marriage has remained her most consistent performance, one built on loyalty, faith, and mutual understanding. Together, they have deliberately avoided the drama and headlines often associated with high-profile couples. Instead, their love story has been defined by consistency, privacy, and shared values. For Heather, who grew up with a strong church background, her marriage is both a personal blessing and a reflection of her faith. For Brian, it has been about supporting a woman whose talent has touched millions while nurturing a home life full of love and normalcy. In a world that often glorifies short-lived Hollywood romances, Heather Headley and Brian Musso's enduring marriage stands as proof that true partnership doesn't need constant attention to be powerful. Do you think marriages that stay out of the spotlight like Heather and Brian's are more likely to succeed in the long run than those lived under constant public scrutiny? David Bowie and Iman. When legendary British musician David Bowie met Somali-born supermodel Faith Abby-Space Oddity, he 1977 had redefined music and fashion with his fearless creativity. Iman, one of the world's first black supermodels, had graced international runways and magazine covers since the 1970s, breaking barriers in an industry long dominated by Eurocentric standards of beauty. For Bowie, meeting Iman was transformative. He later confessed to friends that he knew from the moment they met that she was the one. Their relationship blossomed quickly. In 1992, the couple married in a private ceremony in Switzerland, followed by a formal celebration in Florence, Italy. At the time, interracial marriages, especially high-profile ones, still drew attention, but Bowie and Iman handled the public gaze with elegance and dignity. Their union was never about headlines. It was about two individuals who understood and admired each other deeply. Bowie often spoke publicly about how Iman changed his life. In interviews, he called her the light of my life, and an amazing woman, strong, intelligent, and full of kindness. Iman, in turn, credited Bowie with giving her a sense of peace and grounding that allowed her to balance her demanding career with family life. In 2000, they welcomed their daughter, Alexandria Lexi Zara Jones, a new chapter that further strengthened their bond. For more than 2 decades, their marriage remained one of Hollywood and fashion's most admired partnerships. They managed to keep their private life shielded from constant publicity, choosing instead to focus on family philanthropy and creative expression. While Bowie continued to innovate musically and visually, Iman expanded her cosmetics empire, which had pioneered products designed specifically for women of color. Their love endured until Bowie's death from liver cancer on January 10, 2016, at the age of 69. The news shocked the world, but Iman's grace in the aftermath became a testament to their love. She rarely speaks publicly about him, but when she does, her words carry deep emotion. She has described Bowie not as a rock star, but as her husband and soulmate. Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph. The relationship between Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph remains one of the most touching examples of love and partnership in music history. Minnie, born in Chicago, possessed a rare 5-octave vocal range that made her instantly recognizable. By the mid-1970s, she had already carved out her place in music with the iconic ballad Lovin' You, 1975. A song that soared to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a global hit. Richard, a Jewish-American songwriter and producer from Pittsburgh, first met Minnie while working at Chess Records. Their creative collaboration soon evolved into a deep and lasting romance. They married in 1972 at a time when interracial marriages were still not universally accepted in America. Together, they built a life anchored in both artistry and family. The couple had 2 children, Mark Rudd and Maya Rudolph, who would go on to become a household name as a comedian and actress on Saturday Night Live. Home life was filled with laughter, music, and warmth, with Richard and Minnie encouraging their children to embrace creativity and self-expression. Richard became an essential partner in Minnie's career, co-writing many of her songs, including the timeless Lovin' You. In 1976, Minnie was diagnosed with breast cancer at just 29 years old. At a time when speaking openly about cancer was rare, she courageously shared her battle with the public, becoming a pioneer for awareness and advocacy. Throughout her illness, Richard stood unwaveringly by her side. He supported her as she continued to write record and perform, even as her health declined. Her final album, M. Minnie, passed away on July 12, 1979, at only 31 years old. Her death was a profound loss to the music world, but her legacy lived on through Richard, who continued his career in music while raising their children with love and devotion. Maya Rudolph often credits her parents' artistry and courage as guiding forces in her own life. The love between Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph was not only romantic but also creative, producing music that continues to touch hearts worldwide. Their story proves that even when life is short, love and art can leave an everlasting impact. Do you feel that songs written from personal truth like Lovin' You carry a deeper emotional power than those crafted just for commercial success? Boris Becker and Barbara Feltus. When German tennis prodigy Boris Becker married model and actress Barbara Feltus in 1993, their union became a lightning rod for conversations about race, celebrity, and cultural change in post-Cold War Germany. Becker, who had stunned the sports world by winning Wimbledon at just 17 years old in 1985, the couple made headlines not only for their marriage but also for their bold political statements. In the early 1990s, they posed nude together for the cover of Stern magazine, an image that quickly became iconic. To some, it was shocking. To others, it was a powerful declaration of love, equality, and defiance against racism. The photograph was a cultural milestone in Germany, challenging stereotypes and sparking nationwide debate about race relations. Their personal life was equally eventful. Boris and Barbara welcomed their first son, Noah Gabriel Becker, in 1994, followed by their second son, or in 1999. Both children grew up in the public eye, often photographed alongside their famous parents. Noah would later pursue careers in art and DJing, while Elias explored modeling and music. Behind the glamour, however, the marriage faced its share of challenges. Becker's demanding tennis career and the pressures of fame placed strain on their relationship. By 2001, after 8 years together, Boris and Barbara divorced. Despite the very public nature of their split, they remained committed to raising their children with mutual respect and care. Barbara later relocated to the United States, where she built successful careers in design, wellness, and philanthropy, while Boris continued to navigate his post-tennis career as a coach and commentator. The legacy of their marriage is larger than its duration. Boris and Barbara's union symbolized progress in a Germany still grappling with multicultural identity. Their boldness, particularly in using their platform to normalize interracial love, paved the way for broader conversations about acceptance and diversity in both sports and media. Even decades later, the Stern cover remains one of the most talked-about images in German pop culture history. Their love story may have ended, but its impact continues. Barbara is admired for her independence and grace, while Boris is remembered not only as a tennis champion, but also as part of a couple who helped push society forward. Do you think Boris and Barbara's bold decision to pose nude together was more about personal love, or was it a deliberate act of social activism during a time of cultural tension in Germany? Thandiwe Newton and Ole Parker. When acclaimed British actress Thandiwe Newton Mole Parker in 1998, their union was built on a foundation of shared artistry, respect, and resilience. Thandiwe, born in London to a Zimbabwean mother and British father, had already begun making her mark in films such as Flirting 1991 and Beloved 1998. Her career would eventually span over 3 decades, including powerful performances in Crash 2004, which earned her a BAFTA, and Westworld 2016-2020, which won her an Emmy. Ole Parker, meanwhile, was carving out his own reputation as a gifted writer and director, later known for The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel 2011 and Mom M 2018. Their marriage was unusual for Hollywood, not because it was interracial, but because it was private, enduring, and largely shielded from spectacle. For over 2 decades, Thandiwe and Ole navigated the complexities of fame while raising 3 children. Ripley born 2000, Nico born 2004, and Booker born 2014. Both daughters would eventually step into the creative world, with Nico pursuing acting, following in her mother's footsteps. Thandiwe often spoke about the balance in their relationship. "He lets me fly, and I let him do the same," she once shared, describing the mutual freedom that kept their bond strong. Unlike many Hollywood couples, they rarely worked together professionally, a conscious decision to protect their marriage from the pressures of blending career and personal life. Their love was rooted in equality, honesty, and creative respect. Of course, their journey was not without hardship. Thandiwe has spoken candidly about the struggles she faced in Hollywood, from systemic racism to personal trauma. Through it all remained a steady partner, supporting her advocacy for inclusion, diversity, and integrity in the industry. Their marriage became a symbol of strength, not through constant public display, but through consistency and quiet devotion. After 24 years together, news broke in 2022 that the couple had separated. The announcement carried no scandal or bitterness. Instead, it reflected the evolution of two lives that had grown in different directions. Thandiwe described the split as a story that had changed form but not meaning love. She suggested still existed in gratitude, shared history, and their children. Their relationship is remembered as a rare Hollywood example of endurance and authenticity. More than just a love story, it was a partnership that reflected resilience, artistry, and the importance of staying true to oneself while building a family rooted in love. Cameron Hamilton and Lauren Speed. Few modern love stories have captured the public's imagination quite like that of Cameron Hamilton and La Love is Blind in 2018. The concept of the show was bold. Contestants would date and get engaged without ever seeing each other face to face. For Cameron, a white scientist, and Lauren, a black content creator and entrepreneur, the experiment not only worked, it created one of the most beloved interracial love stories in recent memory. From their very first conversations, Cameron and Lauren bonded over shared values, humor, and authenticity. Viewers were struck by how quickly their connection deepened, leading to Cameron's heartfelt proposal just days into the experiment. When they finally met in person, the chemistry was undeniable, and audiences rooted for them as one of the show's strongest couples. Their wedding, aired in 2020 as part of the show's finale, was both emotional and groundbreaking. Against the backdrop of a society where interracial couples still sometimes face prejudice, their vows stood as a powerful declaration that love transcends skin color. Lauren later admitted she was nervous about how the world would react, but their authenticity won over fans worldwide. After the cameras stopped rolling, Cameron and Lauren proved their relationship was more than just reality TV magic. They built a life together in Atlanta, supporting each other's careers while also launching joint projects. In 2021, they co-authored a book, Leap of Faith: Finding Love the Modern Way Offers. Their marriage has not only endured but thrived, becoming a cultural touchstone for younger audiences navigating relationships in an era defined by both inclusivity and lingering biases. Fans admire them not simply for being an interracial couple, but for the way they openly communicate, celebrate differences, and tackle challenges as a team. Cameron and Lauren's story demonstrates that love truly knows no borders, geographic, racial, or even physical, as their connection was built without sight. They stand today not just as reality TV stars, but as symbols of what can happen when two people choose to love fearlessly despite the odds. Do you think reality shows like Love is Blind can genuinely create lasting relationships, or was Cameron and Lauren's story a rare exception? Travis Kelce and Kayla Nicole. When NFL star Travis Kelce and Kyle began dating in 2017, their relationship quickly attracted attention both on and off the field. Travis, a white tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, was rising to superstardom as one of the league's most dynamic players. Kayla, a black model and on-air host with BET Global Grind and NBA All-Star coverage experience, brought her own charisma, independence, and media presence. Together, they made a striking couple: athletic excellence paired with intelligence and style. From the beginning, they were unapologetically public about their romance. Kayla often appeared at Chiefs games cheering Travis on from the stands, while Travis frequently celebrated her on social media. Their openness was refreshing in a sports world where interracial relationships can still spark conversation. Kayla herself admitted she sometimes faced criticism for dating a white man, but she responded with confidence, reminding fans that love should never be limited by skin color. The couple's bond was not just about glitz and fame, it was rooted in mutual support. Travis credited Kayla with helping him stay grounded amidst the chaos of NFL stardom, while Kayla praised Travis for respecting her independence and career. They often showcased their everyday moments together, workouts, vacations, and playful banter, making them relatable to fans who admired their chemistry. Yet, like many high-profile couples, they faced challenges. Between 2020 and 2022, reports surfaced of breakups and reconciliations fueled by the pressures of fame, public scrutiny, and busy careers. By 2022, the pair officially ended their relationship after 5 years together. Unlike many celebrity splits, theirs was not marked by scandal, but by the recognition that sometimes love changes direction. Still, their impact was significant. Travis and Kayla became one of the most visible interracial couples in professional sports, challenging stereotypes and showing millions of fans that such relationships can be authentic, supportive, and proudly celebrated. Travis continued his career with the Chiefs, adding Super Bowl wins in 2020 and 2023, while Kayla focused on her hosting work, modeling, and advocacy for women of color in media. Even after their breakup, fans often reference their relationship as a positive example of modern love in the spotlight, one that normalized interracial couples in spaces where representation still matters. For Kayla, it was also a platform to demonstrate self-respect and resilience, reminding her audience that no matter the outcome, a woman's worth is never defined by her partner. Do you think high-profile interracial relationships like Travis and Kayla's help shift public perception? Or does the media attention create even more pressure for the couple involved? Garcelle Beauvais and Mike Nylon. When Haitian-American actress Garcelle Beauvais married Hollywood talent agent Mike Nylon in 2001, it seemed like the perfect match. Garcelle had already built a reputation as a versatile actress and model starring in Thin. Mike, a white talent agent at creative artists agency CAA, was well connected in Hollywood's inner circles. Their relationship represented a blending of two demanding worlds, entertainment and management, supported by shared ambitions and the desire to build a family. For years, their marriage appeared strong. Garcelle and Mike welcomed twin sons Jax Joseph and Jade Tha in October 2007. A moment Garcelle later described as nothing short of miraculous, since the couple had struggled with infertility for 5 years. The twins became the heart of their family, and Garcelle often spoke about how motherhood transformed her life. Together, the family embodied the image of a modern interracial household navigating Hollywood with love and resilience. But in 2010, the seemingly perfect picture unraveled. Garcelle discovered that Mike had been having a long-term affair with another woman. Her response was both personal and public. In a moment of raw pain, she sent an email to Mike's colleagues at CAA exposing his infidelity. The message quickly leaked to the press, turning their private struggle into headline news. While some criticized her for airing grievances publicly, others praised her for boldly standing up for herself in an industry where women often feel silenced. The betrayal led to divorce finalized later that year, but Garcelle chose a path of strength and renewal rather than bitterness. She focused on raising her sons as a single mother, prioritizing their stability and well-being. In interviews, she has often said, "They needed both of us, so I chose peace for them." That choice defined the next chapter of her life. Since the divorce, Garcelle has continued to thrive. She joined the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, in The Real, where her candidness and grace resonated with audiences. She also published her memoir, Love Me As I Am, 2022, where she reflected honestly on love, heartbreak, and growth. Mike, meanwhile, has maintained a lower public profile, continuing his career in talent management. Their relationship may have ended painfully, but it also became a story of resilience. Garcelle emerged not as someone defined by betrayal, but as a woman who reclaimed her voice, built her career stronger than ever, and raised her children with dignity. Do you think Garcelle's decision to go public with her husband's betrayal was an act of empowerment, or should such struggles remain private? Alfre Woodard and Roderick Spencer. When acclaimed actress Alfre Woodard married screenwriter and producer Roderick Spencer in 1983, they were entering territory that was still relatively rare in Hollywood, a high-profile interracial marriage. At the time, Alfre was already earning recognition for her powerful performances in films like Cross Creek 1983, which earned her an Academy Award nomination, and later, Passion 12 Years a Slave, 2013. Roderick, a white writer, was steadily building his career in film and television, often working behind the scenes. Their relationship was not about spectacle. It was about building a life of trust, creativity, and shared values. For more than 4 decades, Alfre and Roderick have balanced careers in an industry often defined by fleeting relationships. Together, they adopted 2 children, Mavis and then President, Miss Golden Globe, proudly standing alongside her parents as a symbol of progress and representation. What sets their marriage apart is its foundation of mutual respect and intellectual connection. Roderick has been a consistent supporter of Alfre's career, celebrating her as one of the most versatile actresses of her generation. Meanwhile, Alfre has often credited her husband with creating a family environment that allows her to thrive in an industry not always welcoming to Black women. Their union quietly defied stereotypes and stood as a model of partnership built not on public performance, but on authenticity. Unlike many Hollywood couples, Alfre and Roderick rarely appear in tabloids. When they walk red carpets together, it is not to court attention, but to show solidarity. Their relationship has been a steady constant, allowing them to pursue careers while also championing social causes. Alfre has been deeply involved in activism, particularly around civil rights, voting rights, and representation in Hollywood. Roderick has lent his voice to these causes as well, proving that their bond extends beyond family to a shared vision of justice and progress. Even as Hollywood shifted through decades of changing norms, their marriage endured. They weathered challenges, privately choosing love and commitment over spectacle. In an industry where relationships often crumble under the spotlight, Alfre and Roderick have shown that longevity comes from trust, shared purpose, and the willingness to grow together. Today, their love story represents not just a personal success, but also a cultural statement. They remind us that true partnership is not about fitting into Hollywood's expectations, but about creating your own legacy. Do you think long-lasting Hollywood marriages like Alfre and Roderick's deserve more attention than the high-profile romances that dominate headlines? Ron Perlman and Opal Stone Perlman. Actor Ron Hole, 2004-2008, Beauty and the Beast, One Sons of Anarchy. Opal Stowe, a black jewelry and fashion designer. Their marriage, which began in 1981, lasted nearly 4 decades, making it one of Hollywood's longest-running interracial unions before its end in 2019. Opal was an accomplished artist in her own right. She studied psychology before following her true passion in design, eventually launching Opal Stone Fine Jewelry and her own luxury handbag line. Her work attracted a loyal celebrity clientele, and she built a respected reputation independent of her husband's fame. Ron, meanwhile, was still an unknown actor when they wed. He often credited Opal with being the grounding force that helped him persevere during the lean years before Hollywood success arrived. The couple raised 2 children together: Blake Perlman, born 1984, who pursued acting and singing, and Brandon Avery Perlman. Throughout Ron's rise to fame, he frequently acknowledged that Opal's love and support were central to his journey. She stood beside him at premieres and industry events, but preferred to let her creative work speak for itself. Their interracial marriage, quietly enduring through the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, stood as a steady contrast to Hollywood's fast-changing relationships and offered a symbol of loyalty and shared perseverance. After 38 years of marriage, however, Ron filed for divorce in 2019 with the separation finalized in 2021. Despite the sadness of their split, reports described the process as respectful, with both continuing to support their children and maintain dignity in public. Ron later remarried while Opal continued to focus on her design career. Their story is significant because it shows another side of Hollywood, a marriage that survived decades of pressures, cultural shifts, and career ups and downs. For nearly 4 decades, Ron and Opal embodied a love built on patience, creativity, and quiet resilience. Even though their marriage ended, the legacy of their family and the years they shared remains meaningful. Do you think long marriages that end after many years, like Ron and Opal's, should be seen as failures or as successful chapters that simply reached their natural conclusion? John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. Few celebrity couples have captured the public's imagination like John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. 2006, when Chrissy, then a young model, was cast in the music video for John's song Stereo. What started as a casual connection quickly grew into something deeper, built on laughter, mutual admiration, and a shared sense of humor. By 2011, John proposed during a holiday trip to the Maldives, and in 2013 they married in a stunning ceremony at Lake Como, Italy, the very place where they had first vacationed together. John, a black singer-songwriter and pianist, was already earning recognition for his soulful voice and songwriting talent. Over his career, he would win multiple Grammy Awards and Academy Award glory from Selma, 2015, and even achieve EGOT status, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, a rare feat accomplished by only a handful of artists. Chrissy, a Thai-Norwegian American, was carving her own space in modeling before expanding into television writing and social media influence. Their interracial union wasn't just about love. It became a cultural statement about acceptance, representation, and the beauty of blended families. The couple has faced challenges openly, which only endeared them more to fans. They struggled with fertility issues before welcoming daughter Luna Simone, 2016, and son Mine, 2018. Jack, You Never Break, to their unshakable bond. Their openness about both joys and struggles has made them one of Hollywood's most relatable couples. They use their platform to advocate for racial justice, women's rights, and political engagement. John has often said that Chrissy makes him funnier, bolder, and more grounded, while Chrissy praises John for his endless patience and ability to bring calm during storms. In 2023, they expanded their family further, welcoming daughter Esty Maxine via surrogate in January, and son Ren Alexanderin. Today, John and Chrissy's relationship is celebrated not just for its glamour, but for its honesty. They remind the world that true love means celebrating triumphs, surviving heartbreak, and standing together when life tests you most. Do you think John and Chrissy's willingness to share both their happiest and darkest moments makes them stronger role models for what modern marriage really looks like? George Lucas and Melody Hobson. When George Lucas, the Saint, and Indiana Jones of Breast Horse A. this 2006, their worlds couldn't have seemed more different. Lucas, a white filmmaker whose cinematic universe had grossed billions and reshaped pop culture, had long been a household name. Hobson, a black executive, was the president of Ariel Investments, one of the largest African-American-owned investment firms in the United States, and later became chair of the board of DreamWorks Animation and Starbucks. Their connection grew not out of Hollywood glamour, but mutual admiration, intelligence, and a shared sense of purpose. Their relationship unfolded quietly away from the sensational headlines typical of celebrity romances. For years, they nurtured their bond privately until 2013 Skyway in California. The guest list was as star-studded as their resumes. Friends like Steven Spielberg and Oprah Winfrey attended, reflecting the couple's influence across industries. That same year, they welcomed their daughter Ivere Go On. What made their union especially significant was the merging of two legacies. Lucas was not just a filmmaker, but also a philanthropist who sold Lucasfilm to Disney in 2012 for $4 billion, pledging much of the proceeds to educational causes. Hobson, meanwhile, was a trailblazer in the corporate world, advocating for financial literacy, diversity in boardrooms, and social responsibility. Together, they embodied the power of love built on intellect, shared values, and a vision for the greater good. Their interracial marriage was also symbolic, standing as a quiet but powerful testament to progress in America. Unlike many Hollywood unions defined by red carpets, George and Melody's relationship has been characterized by maturity, stability, and a clear sense of partnership. Hobson herself has spoken about the importance of mutual respect in their marriage, while Lucas often describes his wife as not only brilliant, but grounding his anchor outside the whirlwind of Hollywood. Now, over a decade into their marriage, the pair continue to balance family, business, and philanthropy. Whether it's Lucas's educational foundation or Hobson's leadership in corporate America, their combined influence extends far beyond entertainment. Their story shows that love isn't only about personal happiness. It can also inspire social change and leave behind a legacy that benefits future generations. Tamara Mowry and Adam Housley. When actress Tamara Mowry, beloved for her role on the 1990s sitcom and Ain, 2011, their union was met with both celebration and scrutiny. Tamara, a black actress with a thriving career in television, and Adam, a white Emmy award-winning correspondent for Fox News, came from different worlds. Their relationship quickly became the subject of public debate, particularly because of Adam's affiliation with a conservative media outlet and the prejudices that interracial couples still face in the spotlight. The couple's love story began in 2005 after being introduced through mutual friends. They bonded over shared values, faith, family, and a commitment to honesty. After 6 years of dating, they tied the knot in a vineyard in Napa Valley, California, surrounded by family and close friends. Tamara has often described Adam as her rock, someone who provides stability and strength while encouraging her to be herself. Despite their deep love, they were not shielded from criticism. Tamara faced racist comments online and accusations about her marriage, while Adam was sometimes scrutinized for his professional ties. Yet both refused to let outside voices define their relationship. Adam frequently defended his wife, stating that their marriage was built on love, respect, and faith, not politics or stereotypes. Tamara, meanwhile, used her platform as a co-host on The Real to speak candidly about the challenges of being in an interracial marriage, inspiring many fans who shared similar experiences. Their family grew quickly. The couple welcomed their first child, Aiden John Tanner Housley, Araya beyond family life. They've pursued joint ventures, including their Napa Valley winery, Housley Napa Valley. Their shared love of food, wine, and community has become another way of expressing their partnership outside the entertainment and media industries. Now, more than a decade into their marriage, Tamara and Adam remain steadfast, proving that love grounded in respect can withstand criticism and cultural barriers. Their relationship continues to symbolize resilience, faith, and the importance of writing your own narrative despite societal pressures. Do you think couples like Tamara and Adam, who openly confront criticism, help normalize interracial relationships, or does the public scrutiny make their journey even harder? Justin Chambers and Keisha Chambers. In an industry where long-lasting marriages are rare, actor Justin Chambers and his wife Keisha have quietly built a love story that spans more than 3 decades. Justin, best known for his role as Dr. Alex Karev on Grey's Anatomy, 1993. Unlike many celebrity couples who embrace the spotlight, Justin and Keisha chose a life of privacy. Over the years, they raised a large family together, 5 children, Isabella twins, Maya and Kayla, Eva, and Jackson. Despite Justin's growing fame, the Chambers household remained grounded, with Keisha acting as the steady foundation that allowed Justin to navigate the pressures of a demanding television career. Justin has often credited his wife for keeping him balanced and focused on what truly matters. While he became a household name on Grey's Anatomy, he was known for avoiding Hollywood's party culture, instead prioritizing time at home. Their interracial marriage, which began at a time when such unions were less common in Hollywood, reflected resilience and love in the face of outside stereotypes. What makes their story even more remarkable is its endurance. By the time Justin left Grey's Anatomy in 2020 to spend more time with his family and focus on mental health, he and Keisha had already been married for nearly 30 years. In interviews, Justin emphasized that family was his anchor and that Keisha's unwavering support had been essential throughout his career. The couple has rarely been the subject of tabloid drama, choosing instead to build their legacy in private. This discretion has only strengthened their bond, proving that fame does not have to erode family life. For many fans, Justin and Keisha represent the rare Hollywood couple that demonstrates stability, loyalty, and genuine partnership. Their love story shows that lasting marriages in entertainment are possible when built on humility, respect, and a commitment to family above all else. They are a reminder that real romance doesn't always need the spotlight. It flourishes in the everyday moments shared away from cameras. Do you think the secret to Justin and Keisha's enduring marriage lies in their decision to stay private, or is it simply the result of their deep commitment to family values? Love stories like these remind us that while fame fades and circumstances change, the courage to love across boundaries always leaves a mark. From quiet endurance to bold defiance, these couples showed the world that relationships built on respect and resilience can inspire far beyond Hollywood. But here's the question: should we remember them most for the love they shared, or for the cultural battles they fought just by being together? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more stories that spark conversation.